Thank you, Marlene, and World Unity Week. I am honored and privileged to be a small part of this, a small part of a huge purpose to bring people together, to heal, to become one. I'm honored. This is truly an inspired opportunity to unite as a global community. These are the words from World Unity Week. You know, in a purposeful and creative action. And this is all about celebrating transformation and potential. So I am so grateful for all of you, everyone that's been participating, and especially Marlene, who's invited me to speak, and calling this Sleeping in Seattle. Now, I'm in Seattle these days, and in the background, if I step away, you can see the Olympic Mountains, beautiful place where we plan our first retreat, we hope soon. But I'm really here to talk about something is very close to me, a life skill, the number one life skill. But let me start first by saying or asking you know, how did you sleep last night? Although many people think of Sleepless in Seattle as a romantic comedy, I actually think that sometimes it's a bit of a tragedy, only because we look at sleeplessness and wear it like a badge of honor. And this is just our culture and society today. So what I'm here to share with is how I came about talking about this film, the subject of sleep. In fact, today, Sleepless in Seattle was launched. Its debut was on this very day in 1993. So it's divine timing, as Marlene said. I am the last presenter in this particular group. There are over 32 groups in this event and many people speaking at the same time. I am so fortunate to be here. So I'm honored to be here. So thank you very much. I wanted to share first that some years ago, I think it was going on, well, 17 years ago, or 1999, my wife and I met my wife in the US, and then she's from Spain, and we decided to travel to Europe. I thought maybe life in Spain was much more interesting than Seattle. And she was literally my ticket to a new life. So we wanted to start out the year 2000 in a new, complete environment. And you know, it was many years of in the design profession that I spent, and I was very privileged to work with incredible people. And I ended up working for the number one retailer, British retailer in the UK. And I thought this was a success for me. I thought this was living my full potential. Until one day, after actually 9 years of experiencing what Marlene has helped me reframe, a human being who was acting as a bully. And after that amount of time, I just burned, I crashed and burned. I literally went into a very dark space, and like many Londoners might think about, and many have done, is jump in front of their train. And I was at that point. I was shaking. My heart was palpitating. I just went straight into A&E or emergency, and I had my heart checked. Basically, I wasn't having a heart attack, but I was just so stressed. I didn't have the tools and to cope with it properly. So I ended up being on sick leave for 6 months. And my friend Nick there remembers that. And I was on antidepressants. My wife was happy because I was just very mellow and floating around the house. But, you know, it was a very difficult time. And I think that during that 6 months at home, I learned so many things. One of them was binge watching. And I ended up watching all 5 seasons of Breaking Bad. That's what I learned. But truly, I actually learned something from a book. It started with Ariana Huffington's book Thrive that was published in 2014. This is the time I came across this. I was at home, and this really helped me redefine success for me. As she had said in her book, it was about redefining it for each individual, but it was missing the third metric, which was about well-being and wisdom. And so that set me on the path about understanding well-being. Although I was already very conscious of what I ate, and I was practicing Tai Chi and Qigong. I thought I was healthy. I did my exercise, but I didn't realize that I wasn't sleeping enough. And in fact, that's a common symptom for people who are sleep deprived. They don't even realize, we don't even realize the state we're in. We think this is normal. So I was quickly learning through many of the people I've been studying, and even had a chance to meet some of my favorite sleep psychologists, Dr. Ruben Nyman, Dr. Matthew Walker. These are people who are out there, advocates about this subject of sleep. And so I realized that it was time to move on. And after coming back to work, the person who used to act like a bully was no longer there. And when I look back on that experience, I have to be grateful. I have to thank him for that challenge in my life, because that inspired me to find my true purpose. It wasn't design, and I thought design was, everything that I wanted to do. But I realized quickly that without my health and without your health, we can't do the things we truly love. And I, was planning that time to leave my work and move to America and to look after my elderly parents. This was kind of something that I was brought up with as part of my culture, you might say. But it felt like, moving from out of the frying pan into the fire, because there I moved in with my parents. And my father was an extreme insomniac. So I have been experiencing for the past 5 years, someone who is extremely sleep deprived and very moody. And I see, signs of him kind of losing touch with some things. Of course, he's 88 years old, and anyone in my family will probably burn me for saying these things. But I am experiencing it from another perspective. I've had my own sleep problems, but I have been working on it ever since. And so when I came back to America, all of a sudden I discovered health coaching. I said, what is this thing? As a designer, I'm very much, passionate about creative ways of doing things. So when I came across health coaching, I thought, okay, this could be the package I needed to share what I had been learning about sleep and I continue learning about sleep. And even at a deeper level, I believe sleep is also part of what's needed to bring the world together, because we are actually, I believe, one consciousness. And that's another story about sleep as another state of consciousness, not unconsciousness. That's what I'm learning. So coming back to America, I'm practicing health coaching, but even among my health coach colleagues, which I hope some might see this, there was little focus on sleep. And I found that amazing, because as I am learning, and I have helped some of my clients with, it's really the foundation on which we build our health upon. So yes, we have to eat and, and exercise, but sometimes we forget about sleep. We don't value it as much. And so, as I said, sleepless in Seattle, everyone wears this badge. I got by with only 5 hours of sleep or 6 hours. and, and I know Naziha, in the middle of the night, it shows up because she's here to support me, that, it's all right. We're very resilient, as Marlene said earlier today. We're resilient people, and we could get by with a night or two, or maybe a week without enough sleep. Mothers get by for years without sleep, but they can bounce back, and that's wonderful. But for some, it's very serious. It becomes chronic. And guess what? Sleep is connected to every form, every lifestyle disease, every preventable lifestyle disease. Sleep is connected to mental health in a huge way. And we're seeing this today during these COVID times. And I joke about it. It's not a joke, but I say that, COVID really woke us up to reassessing our life and our health and our well-being. And I truly believe that if we take care of our health and well-being first, we can do everything that we're here to do. Because you know how it feels without enough sleep. We may not decide to go to the gym or work out. We may choose to eat the wrong foods. That's what lack of sleep is doing to tricking our minds. There is science and neuroscience that backs up all the issues that come up without enough sleep. But I'm also here to share that sleep can also be a powerful tool, a powerful pathway to greater health and well-being, a way to increase our memory, our learning, our focus, our attention, our executive functions. Sleep does all these things. And then there's the physical level where sleep, getting enough sleep and eating well and exercise can lead to much longer life, happier life. And in fact, when it comes to happiness, there's a direct relationship to the lack of sleep and happiness, because without enough sleep, the amygdala in the middle of our brain is triggered. It is the part of the brain that regulates emotions. Well, guess what? You know how you feel on very little sleep. Just like that, things can change. And it has in my world, like on a daily basis with my father. So I'm experiencing it in this way. And I'm only here to share that, health being the foundation can help us become the person we want to become, to do the things that we want to do, right? We are first human beings and not human doings, as other people have said. So here I am now, back in America, 6 years on with my parents. Things are better now because we moved and live just a mile away from them. So that has changed our life, but we still are there for my parents, and also try to continue our coaching business, because that's one way that I can help others. So this story, although Sleepless in Seattle is romantic and a bit funny, I just want to share the message that if we just take care of our sleep, our health will improve, our mental health will improve, our well-being on all levels will improve, and it doesn't cost a thing. And it's so simple, but not easy, right? Just look after our sleep. And many people say, well, I mean, how do you do that? Well, there are tips and tricks and hacks, and there's all kinds of things that I'm happy to share. I won't go into it completely, but just know that if we, everybody's so different, but if we value sleep, just look after, how many hours do you get by on, and you feel you have enough energy for the whole day. It varies for everyone. It's 7 to 9 hours generally what is recommended. So whatever hours of the day or night that you get your sleep and rest, just work out what's best for you. And if you're short on sleep during that one particular day, well, you can make up for it only for a day perhaps. And that's by taking a nap. And, again, we live in a culture that doesn't value nap, and it comes with a stigma about being lazy and not working. But actually it is a tool, because there are, stories about people who have taken naps, and the best ideas come from those dreams during those times. There are professional athletes who value sleep and have been at the top of their game. In fact, it reminds me of a presentation I did some years ago. Nick was there, about sleeping your way to the top of your game. And it was really about how people can really tap into this power and improve every aspect of what they do just by that simple thing. So getting back to sleep, simple enough, not easy. Work out the hours you need and be consistent. So if you go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time, that would be great. That would be ideal. Just having enough hours consistently will do wonders, and you can give it a try. There are many other things around the sleeping environment. Again, I'm not here to go into the detail about all the tips. I'm happy to speak outside of this, but I just wanted to share, that that sleep was kind of the foundation for me realizing my true potential. Because I've always wanted to, like everyone, we want to achieve more, we want to be more. But if you're not up to it, if you're not feeling well, if you're not healthy, if you're not in the state of mind, it just won't happen. Yes, I remember hearing a presentation the other day that sometimes the doing part gives them the energy to kind of push through, and then they're feeling better, which is fine, but hopefully not chronically, not like all the time, always serving others first. We've got this turned around, because I truly believe we have to take care of ourselves first, and then everything follows. Everything you do will be enhanced just by taking care of our sleep, our health, our energy. I always say that it's about managing our sleep, health, and energy more than managing our time. Time is the same for everyone. It's infinite, but energy, time is finite, but energy is infinite. So if we even, when we go deeper into sleep, we will see also an increase in our energy levels, of course. But also on a deeper level, sleep is like to quote Dr. Matthew Walker, it's like a soothing balm for the soul, for the spirit. You know that when you're going through a very difficult time, sometimes just sleeping, getting more sleep, sleeping on it, that's how the expression comes about sometimes, whether it's solving a problem or going through a difficult time, that sleeping will help. And a new day comes to you. And at a very deep level, spirit, energy, it's all the same in my world. Sleep is deeply connected to that. I think that there's a lot of stats and facts around sleep, and something I came across I wanted to share, which it was new to me. And it comes from the Global Wellness Institute. It's a nonprofit, with a mission to empower others around education for their health and well-being. One of the first research reports on global mental wellness was done only maybe a year ago. And sleep is a small part, well, actually it's a big part. It's $50 billion of a $121 billion industry as far as global mental health. So there is energy or money in this area, but these are just numbers that talk about where we are as a society right now. We're spending more time and money and energy into our well-being. It's not, I would say, quite mainstream as I would like to see, but it's getting there. It's growing. Something that I learned in the early days was that there is this word called presenteeism. And I'm guilty of this, where I would go to work. Like absenteeism, people show up or don't show up for work. You count that as lost productivity. But people who do show up to work without enough sleep, who are present but not present, they're maybe working at 80 or 70%. That translates to over $411 billion lost productivity in the US alone. That was maybe 3 years ago. So you can imagine across the world, people aren't quite themselves, not working not being at their full potential. Then it's like lost energy, and it can be prevented. So people are starting to look at these things. They have looked at the links to lack of sleep and mental health, suicides, depression, anxiety. All of these are on the rise in the last years. Incredible rise. And we see it all the time, every day. I don't listen to the news very much, but I can see there's fear and there's anger everywhere. And I can feel it. And sometimes, it's not that I'm ignoring it all, but that sometimes you just have to focus on yourself. And I always say, start with sleep. And then you will make the right decisions about what you eat, what you do for exercise. It's as simple as that. Start with sleep. So I just wanted to share some of that, and I have a few minutes left here, and I wanted to kind of I would love to hear from you, and so that we can be, talking about this, really a conversation, because it's one thing to be talking about it. We're in this World Unity Week, we're talking about let's do something. I mean, it's not very sexy. Okay, let's do sleep. People aren't thinking about that. We might do environmentalism. We might do, documentary films. We might do all these things. Wonderful. This is so necessary. But we also have to take care of ourselves. And I say we need to take care of ourselves first. So I'm open to any, discussions. I can try to work the tech here from this end. Please share your experience. Daniel.
Hi. Thank you for that. So my question, and I've researched it, and I've come up with 2 points of view. I'm a night owl since kindergarten. Okay. I have not been able to turn that around. I think there were 2 weeks where it happened, and I was miserable. Where I got up early, and my day started early and ended early. But I'm a night owl, so that's not going to change. But I am so in researching my 6, 7, 8 hours sleep. I read that it's okay if your 8 hours starts at 2 in the morning till whatever 10, 11, then that's okay. The important thing is that you're getting in your 8 hours, and it doesn't have to be from before midnight until the morning hours. So what's your opinion on that?
That is so true, Daniel. We all have a particular chronotype.
Okay.
It's like a personality type. We all have tendency or preference for day or for morning. Some people have their peak energy at 9 a.m., some at 2 a.m. So that's quite all right. And you're so correct in that as long as we manage the 7 to 9 hours within our day and it's consistent, that's just fine. We're also different. Unfortunately, there are some systems in place, like the school system, who forces, especially in America, force kids to go to work, go to school at 7 or 8 a.m., right? There's been work around this right now to change school start times. And this is the same in the UK also. But because they discovered that children are at their peak later in the morning. So their chronotype as a young person is different from as an adult. So it changes over time. And as some people believe, I'm in denial, but as we get older, our sleep patterns change, our needs for sleep change. Now that I don't believe. We still need our 7 to 9, whatever age we are at. So yeah, I mean, that's how you do all the wonderful work that you do, Daniel, in the middle of the night. So I haven't seen Nick in ages. Nick, share what you know about sleep or what you know about me.
Hello, Mag. It's so lovely to see you. It's been a long time.
Sorry, I just got cut off this call. Okay.
I hadn't realised that it was 6 years ago you left.
Yes, it's been that long. But time flies when you're having fun, and I miss you all. And we know how wonderful workplaces can be, and we know that it's a long way for people to recognize the value of sleep, and each individual, sometimes it's very difficult in the corporate world that we've come from. But yeah.
Yeah, I found it much easier since we've been working from home to manage my sleep, whereas before I'd have to set my alarm. I'd have to wake up whatever time it was to get ready, rush around, get on the tube, get into work on time. And yeah, it's a little bit more relaxed at the moment because the commute's been taken out. But yeah, so I'm feeling much better about things really. And my quality of sleep has improved massively.
Wonderful, wonderful. You brought up a point about the quality, because it's not just the quantity, not just the 7 to 9, but it's the quality. And this is where you go into some of the tips and tricks about what that means. Quality means uninterrupted sleep, and it means going into deep stages of sleep, which might have to do with what we eat or drink before bed, or what we exercise, and mostly, I'll bet, I'm sure of it, it's what we're thinking about. It's the monkey mind that's going on all night, that's preventing many of us from sleeping. So then we learn about ways to calm ourselves through meditation and breathing techniques. These are all part of that process of learning how to take better care of our sleep. Yeah, so it's wonderful. I'm closing down here in just a minute. So we have 30 minutes with Marlene, and I'm so grateful for Marlene, especially, who has helped me reframe how I felt about our boss once upon a time, and I am truly grateful for that experience, because if we are comfortable where we are, sometimes I don't think we'll grow as much. So I've learned to be grateful for these things, even the experiences I'm having now with my family and my father. It's been really difficult, but I'm learning so much. And in that way, I'm grateful that I'm learning these lessons so I can help others through it. Sleep is not, sleep is an individual thing, very personal, but it also affects other people. Sleep has a direct relationship to every relationship you have, how you look, what your outlook on life might be. So yeah, I appreciate you being here, and anyone who might catch the replay, especially my health coach colleagues. It's just something that I wanted to share, that health and well-being is the foundation for creating a better world, by first starting with ourselves. And this is how I believe we can create a better world. So I truly appreciate the opportunity to share this. And Marlene, if we're done, or
Mag.
yes, please. Let's see how.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much. And it's so wonderful that you left 6 years ago, your work and all that. And you came here with your father and family to help them with their sleep. And that in itself is such a wake-up call, how important it is, the sleep. But I can so well resonate with what Daniel said just now. I've been a night owl since the last 9 years. And since, I've been more into documentaries and poetry, for some reason, I feel very happy it's when it's like 10 o'clock in the night and say, I'm going to sleep tonight. But what happens by 11 or 12, things start coming, creativity starts awakening in my mind. And then it's suddenly the morning prayers like 4 a.m. or something. And then I feel like really sleepy at 5 or something. So then I sleep for another, let's say 3 hours, sometimes 4, sometimes even 6, but never at the right time. Like I'm kind of fighting with nature. I've been a night owl myself. Is that all right? Or do I need to reframe my mind? Is there a possible way to do that?
Yes. Well, as you mentioned, you're a night owl, which is wonderful, which is great. Um, and a lot of creative ideas come in those hours. So in as far as fighting with it, yes, it feels like that sometimes. If you feel like you have enough energy to go from day to day, your sleep pattern could be fine. But if you can find some consistency somewhere, that would be great. It would be better for you. Um, it's it's so individual for people. But when it comes to, say, naps, say we got maybe 5 hours sleep, and then during the day you have some commitments. If you can manage a nap in, I would say try to keep the nap less than 90 minutes. Because that feeling when you sleep and you wake and you feel groggy, this is what they call sleep inertia. This is going past a full sleep cycle. 90 minutes is a full sleep cycle. You go through 5 stages of sleep. If you're interrupted in the middle of one of those things, it's okay. This is why people limit power naps to 20 minutes. It's just enough to get into some deep sleep, restore and rejuvenate the brain. But if we go over 90 minutes or 3 hours, generally it's not considered a nap. It's kind of like, sleeping, just a different sleeping pattern. I would say whatever works for you, as long as you can get in total 7 to 9 hours, and it works with your lifestyle.
I'm so proud of you. Thanks, Mag.
Oh,
Very, very pleased.
thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you very much. And thank you.
Lucky people.
Yes, yes. Just a simple thing like sleep, right?
Correct. That wakes us up actually if we understand sleep better.
Exactly. That was my wake-up call. So thank you, everyone. And thank you, Marlene, especially for allowing me to share this sleeping in Seattle.